This is a map that shook the internet. What you're looking at may seem like a rugby injury, but it's actually 12 nations squeezed into one country. Yep, you heard right. The United States of America is basically a dozen countries pretending to be one. But why? Why would they put up with this charade? Well, buckle up, because today we're peeling back the layers of this country's identity crisis. So stick around until the end, because I've got a shocking twist that hits closer to home than you think. Remember when your mom warned you not to judge another culture before understanding it? Well, today we're taking our own medicine. We're going to dig into how the US became this patchwork quilt of cultures. And trust me, you won't believe the mess they're in. Now let's start with the basics. Imagine you're hosting a dinner party. You invite a bunch of friends, but instead of being a smooth gathering, it turns into a Tower of Babel situation. Everyone's talking, but no one's really connecting. That's kind of how the US operates. Sure, they share a table, but each guest is speaking a different language. What's up, Yankee Dumb? Think of New England with its big cities like Boston and the crazy history of stuff happening there. Back in the day, this place was all about trade and manufacturing. It was like the factory floor of the early US. The folks here, especially in Boston, were educated, loved ideas, and were eager to take on new ones. Some were even part of the Mayflower Society. That's like a club for descendants of those early European settlers. Today, Yankee Dom is like the college professor of the group. They talk about social justice, equality, and making things better for everyone. And then we've got Dixie, the Southern charm with a side of controversy. Imagine a big porch with rocking chairs, sweet tea, and endless debates. Yeah, it's like that down south. Picture places like Mississippi and Alabama. Life is slower here. Family ties are strong and traditions run deep. Historically, the South was all about agriculture, especially cotton fields worked by enslaved people. This dark part of their history still casts a shadow over the region. As for today, well, let's just say that if Yankee Dom is the college professor, Dixie is the Bible-thumping preacher. They love their customs, God, and guns. It's all about preserving what they've got and sticking to their principles. Oh, and did I mention football? College football is like a religion in the South. Next up, we have Left Coast, the land of sunshine, tech giants, and protests. Think San Francisco or Seattle. People here are all about personal freedom, changing the world, and, well, enjoying a good burrito. In the old days, this area was all about gold, timber, and railroads. Over time, it turned into a hub for innovators, artists, and dreamers. Right now, Left Coast is like the tech genius at the party. They've got all the latest gadgets, they're fighting climate change, and they're definitely not afraid to speak up. And hold up, before we move on, let's talk about a serious issue: human trafficking. It's a dark reality affecting millions. And finally, we have Deep South. This is the heartland of tradition where life moves a little slower. Places like Charleston and Savannah, they've got Spanish moss hanging from the trees and history oozing from the walls. Back in the day, this area was all about farming, especially cash crops like tobacco and cotton. It was also where slavery was at its worst. The scars of this history are still visible today. If you want to know what Deep South is all about, just think of sweet tea, front porches, and lots of humidity. Now let's head over to Tidewater, the aristocratic remnant. Imagine a world where everyone calls you sir and ma'am. That's what it's like in Tidewater, which includes parts of Virginia. Back in the early days, this region was where the rich landowners held court. They had big houses, fancy titles, and even their own private armies. Today, Tidewater is like the old moneyed gentlemen at the party. They're polite, reserved, and a bit stuck in the past. Okay, time to meet Greater Appalachia, the rugged rebels. Imagine a foggy mountain where the nearest neighbor is a half-day hike away. Yeah, it's like that here. Places like West Virginia and Kentucky, they're all about self-reliance, hard work, and above all, freedom. Back in the olden times, people here were miners, farmers, and moonshine makers. They always had a chip on their shoulder and weren't afraid to fight for what they believed in. These days, Greater Appalachia is the grumpy uncle at the party. They don't trust the government much, and they're fiercely independent. Hunting, fishing, and playing dominoes are their jams. Moving on, we have El Norte, the living border. Imagine a place where two worlds collide. That's exactly what happens in El Norte, which stretches from San Diego to San Antonio. There's a constant mix of cultures, languages, and flavors. It's like a giant fiesta that never ends. With its long history of immigration and border crossings, El Norte is like the traveler at the party. They bring a taste of Mexico and a whole lot of energy. Now let's chat about New Netherland, the metropolitan. Imagine a city that never sleeps. That's New Netherland, particularly New York City. It's the melting pot of America, and probably one of the busiest places on Earth. Throughout history, this area was a hub for traders, immigrants, and anyone looking for a slice of the American dream. It's like the bustling businessman at the party. They're blunt, fast-paced, and always on the go. But wait, there's more. There's also Far West. Think cowboys, tumbleweeds, and ghost towns. This region is isolated and rugged, relying on the government for jobs and services while still distrusting the heck out of them. It's like the lone wolf at the party. They're mysterious, unpredictable, and a bit dangerous. And last but certainly not least, we have First Nation, the indigenous peoples. Imagine living in a place where the government tries to erase your language, your culture, and even your name. Yeah, it's not pretty. These are the original inhabitants of the land, but their stories have often been overlooked. If the U.S. is a party, First Nation is the quiet voice in the corner. They're resilient, spiritual, and full of wisdom. Finally, let's talk about the Foundry. It's like the Rust Belt mixed with a steel town. Places like Detroit and Gary are home to working-class families who built this country with their hands. The Foundry has a rich history of labor unions, strikes, and fights for workers' rights. Sadly, with factories closing down, this region has seen better days. But if the U.S. is a party, the Foundry is the fading disco ball. They've seen their glory days, but they're still standing, and maybe, just maybe, they'll get to shine again. Now for the big question, what does this mean for us? Well, imagine going to a party where everyone speaks a different language and has totally different customs. That's what life is like in the U.S. They're stuck with this weird system where everyone's supposed to be one big happy family, but in reality, they're just a bunch of different cultures trying to squeeze into one space. So why should you care? Well, first off, it helps you understand the news better. When you see the word America, don't just think of one country. Think of 12 different cultures constantly fighting for a piece of the pie. Secondly, it makes elections way more interesting. It's not just about left versus right. It's a full-on battle between 12 different visions of the world. Finally, it makes foreign policy way more complicated. When you have 12 different groups pulling in 12 different directions, making decisions is like herding cats. And don't forget the influence they have on us. Their conflicts, their crises, their progress, it all affects us in ways you can't imagine. Look, understanding other countries is important, but what's even more important is understanding your own backyard. After all, the biggest threat to our country might be closer than we think. So don't be a wallflower at this party. Embrace the chaos, learn from their mistakes, and keep an eye on what's happening next door, because it might just affect us sooner than we think. And with that note, we've come to the end of this incredible journey through the hidden states of the United States. But the adventure doesn't have to end here. If you want to dive deeper into the fascinating world of international relations and global conflicts, then make sure to check out my podcast. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you never miss out on our upcoming adventures. Until next time, stay curious and keep asking questions. Thanks for watching.
Attention. Pay very close attention. I'm about to show you something incredible in the next 3.1 seconds. Do you want access to Google certification methodology where you can earn $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, or even more? It's a methodology that very few people know about, a true blue ocean opportunity. Many people are making excellent money with this approach. Remember, this is not easy money. Easy money doesn't exist. This is something Google itself offers, and very few people are aware of it. Anyone can apply this methodology. We present the entire process in an ebook. It's something that has high demand in today's market. A huge opportunity, and you don't need to sell courses or anything like that. Plus, you can do everything from home. The original price of the ebook is $147, but you'll only pay half that, which is $73. Actually, you won't even pay that. The price you'll pay is just $9.97. It's practically free considering the value you're getting, and you'll also get an amazing 100% free bonus. And your risk is zero, because after your purchase, you still have a 7-day guarantee to ask for your money back. We give you access to all the content and the bonus, and you still have the guarantee to get your money back. Hurry and get the ebook at this promotional price, as it could go up at any moment. Click the link in the first pinned comment.